Okay. Welcome and thanks everyone for joining us today on the webinar on the newest edition of the SunBrite lineup, the Veranda series. I'm John Staley and I'm the Technical Training Manager at SnapAV, and I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. Before we get started, let's go through a few quick housekeeping items. First, we will be recording this webinar and we'll send you a copy by email within the next few days. The email will also include a coupon offer for 10% off your next single SunBrite order up to $500 in discount. And lastly, we're planning to have time at the end of the presentation for a Q&A session, so please feel free to send in your questions at any time during the webinar. You can do that by using the question and answer feature in the webinar control panel. Okay, now I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Ricky Pishoff, our National Technical Training Director. Welcome, Ricky.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started with today's webinar. We will have time at the end, as John said, for some question and answers, but feel free throughout the presentation to type in your questions. We do have part of the team here, the SunBrite team here, so that we can answer these real time as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, today we will discuss the newest member of the SunBrite family, the Veranda. My name is Ricky Pishoff, and I am the National Technical Trainer here at SnapAV, and also the proud new owner of a 55-inch veranda on my back patio. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. On today's agenda, we will discuss the story and history of how the Veranda product has evolved. We will quickly go over all the models in the SunBrite lineup and discuss the concept goals for the Veranda team. Next up, will be the benefits to you, the dealer, the Veranda models and pricing, as well as selling tips and tools that are available. What the next steps for you, the dealer, are, and then we can have a Q&A at the end. So let's go ahead and get started. SnapAV acquired SunBrite a little over a year and a half ago. And then Snap did extensive research with both installing dealers and end users and found that outdoor TV installs were installed in several different types of outdoor locations. The majority of the installs seem to be in fully covered patio environments. We also found that most all installs today were done with indoor TVs being installed in outdoor locations. In just the last 3 months, we have seen sales increase by 76% on the Veranda line. With this, we're also seeing more units of the higher-end Signature and Pro models being sold too. Why is that? Because Veranda provides an easy way to start the conversation about a true outdoor TV experience and then move the customer into the higher-end model. Snap's mission was to address the needs of the consumer and dealer to develop a safe, affordable, easy to install, integration-friendly, and also to offer different model sizes and features while still maintaining a high-quality product for the outdoor environment. Introducing the Veranda series. The current SunBrite lineup is based upon 3 model categories. We have the Pro with 13 different models. We have the Signature with 9 models. And our newest, the Veranda, with 3 models that we will focus on today's presentation. They all have one very important feature the same, the weatherproof design. What model to choose comes down to where you install the TV and what features are needed for the install. A little more breakdown on the model lineup. The Pro models can be installed directly in sunlighted areas. These units feature an active temperature control for extreme weather reliability. After all, mounting a metal box in direct sunlight will cause the internal temperature to rise quite a bit. A host of connection options in most models include a speaker bar for optimum sound. The Signature models work very well with partial sun applications. They feature full 4K resolutions on all models and come in a variety of sizes and colors. Included with Signature are advanced CI features like RS-232 control, as well as built-in HD-based receivers. And the newest member model, Veranda, work very well in full shade applications, full 4K resolution, and loaded with CI features. Once you decide on the install location, then you could look at the different models and options that are available. Pick the model for the environment and features needed, and be assured that all models will outperform any indoor TV. Goals for the Veranda. Let's talk a little bit about the goals for the Veranda team. One of the main goals for the Veranda team was make it affordable. True outdoor TVs are presumed to be 5 to 6 times the cost of an indoor TV. We set out to change this idea. Cost was the deciding factor in 99% of the outdoor TV install decisions. So how did we do it? With the buying power of SnapAV, we were able to use our vendor negotiations to get the best pricing on the parts needed, and most importantly, and the most expensive part, the LED panels. Our own internal engineering resources were used throughout the design process to keep costs down. All metal design and development was done in-house by our mechanical engineering teams. When it was time to begin manufacturing, we ramped up the numbers to fill all of our warehouses, thus saving cost in the production. And lastly, and most important, what we do best, we sell directly to our CI dealers on our web portal, saving you the cost of the middleman. An additional goal for the team was to maintain the high quality standards of the SunBrite product line. First and foremost was to use the same quality weatherproofing techniques used on all SunBrite models, including the use of powder-coated aluminum and stainless steel in the manufacturing process. We used the latest release version of the new 4K panels that are 30% brighter than their consumer versions. We use a low gloss screen on the Veranda to reduce reflections in the outdoor environment. And all exposed materials are fully weatherproof for long life outdoors. In fact, I made mention a little earlier about my recent install of my 55-inch veranda on my back patio. Well, it comes to find out that I have a neighbor who tends to come over quite often in the evening to watch TV with me, especially since the March Madness is going on, or it's over with now, but every evening he seemed to be on my back patio with me, taking a look at the TV. And what I did was I put the new TV in place of an old consumer brand TV and didn't tell him. The very first thing he said was, "Did you make adjustments to this TV, Ricky? Because it sure is brighter." The second thing he said was, "I can no longer see the reflection of my house in your TV screen. What did you do? Did you spray something on it?" And I said, "No, I finally went out and put in the correct TV for the outdoor application, which is a true outdoor TV." So immediately we began to see much more differences in the professional model TV on my own back patio. And I've got testimonies from my neighbors to prove this. So guys, make sure that when you put the TVs in, especially if you're replacing a consumer TV, I think two of the first feedback reactions you're going to get is, "Wow, that's much brighter," and look, no reflections anymore. Additional goals for the team was to make sure every veranda was safe. We make every SunBrite model totally weatherproof to direct water applications. You never use an indoor TV outdoors. It says so in that TV's manual. The warranty is void on that TV if you do, and we never want our customers to experience electrocution hazard. So guys, please look at that TV's install manual. When you turn that first page, the very first page behind the cover is going to show you an electrocution hazard whenever a TV is installed in a wet environment. So please heed those warnings and make sure you don't do that. The final goals of the team were to make the Veranda CI friendly. We will discuss each of these in a separate slide. After all, this is what we do, custom install. So we'll talk about the media bay, discrete IR codes, 2 USB jacks, 4 HDMI connections, audio-video connections, and lastly, coax cable connections. Let's go into some CI features. Totally sealed media bay on the rear, so all wiring connections are done in a sealed environment. Wire tie-down locations are included for wire strain relief. No more having the HDMI cables falling off when hanging the TV. When all wiring is pressed between the two gaskets, a watertight surface is created. The thumb screws allow for quick and easy access without any type or tool. Full discrete IR codes for all functions with a dedicated IR window in the rear media bay. IR remote, as always, can be pointed to the front panel for control also. Just a few of the discrete commands available are power on, power off, each separate source input, and direct off-air tuner commands. More and more service providers are using USBs as a way to get service into your TV. There are 2 USBs with power for devices like Fire TV, Chromecast, or other providers. Both USBs are powered so that they will work with most all devices that are on the current market today. Also in the media bay is 4 HDMI inputs. All HDMIs are full HDMI 2.0 and have HDCP 2.2 ratings to ensure compatibility with the latest 4K sources and streaming services. Inputs 1 and 2 are for use with regular HDMI signals coming from cable boxes, SAT receivers, DVD players, Blu-ray players, etc. Input 3 can be used with AV receivers with ARC or audio return channel if needed. And input number 4 can be used with today's MHL connections, which is mobile high def link, which some mobile devices have those connections on them. Continuing with the CI features, we have 1 set of component and 1 set of audio video jacks. Also audio out in both line level and toslink. Starting from the left, very hard to see, but there's a toslink connection. Then left and right audio out that can be set to be variable or fixed. Then green, blue, red for component video. Then left and right audio in. The RJ45 connection is for service only and should not be connected to a network. The last connection is for coax cable input. This can be used to connect to the latest off-air high-def antennas to feed into the built-in off-air tuner. We are seeing more and more consumers wanting to cut the cable in our market space, and this TV is ready. We're also seeing more and more consumer TVs dropping the off-air tuners from their sets to save cost. And last on the CI features, there is an additional room in the media bay to house a few other devices if needed, like our HD-based T receiver. Note the wire tie-down locations to manage all wiring in the media bay. You won't find CI features like this on any consumer version TV. Let's talk a little bit about the benefits for you to the dealer. Finally, a TV that has profit for you, the CI dealer, that can be sold at full retail price. A true outdoor rated TV that is not 5 or 6 times the cost of indoor TVs. Indoor TV mounted outdoors have come to be known as a new project category, throwaway TVs. The Veranda will stop that thought process from now on. When all the neighbors see this TV on your customer's patio, expect the phone to start ringing. The same way my neighbor came over and said, I got to get me one of these. You're going to get customer referrals based upon that TV's picture and the features that it brings to the marketplace. A safe TV install outdoors, so you don't have to worry about any kind of liability issues. And then also knowing that you have installed a more professional TV in an outdoor application that will outperform any indoor TV in the market space today. Let's look at the 3 Veranda models. We have a 65-inch model with an MSRP of $34.99, 55-inch with an MSRP of $19.99, and the 43-inch has an MSRP of $14.99, and all 3 are 4K Ultra HD panels. Full tech specs are available on the Snap website, but a few key points are 4K LED custom-made panel, the temperature rating down to -24 degrees, again full HDMI 2.0 and HDCP 2.2 for 4K source compatibility, built-in down-firing speakers, not rear-facing like most competitors. Amazing how this TV sounds compared to rear-facing speaker TV models. Let's go into some selling tips for you, the dealer, when you're combating the ever price point issue with the consumer. When the consumer comes out and tells you that he can buy an outdoor TV much cheaper, you can always use these tips that are coming up on the next few slides to help you sell that TV. 30% brighter. When this customer sees an example of the TV's brightness outdoors, immediately he's going to understand why he's paying a few dollars more for this model. Everyone knows that it's hard to see a TV outdoor because of the reflective nature of light. And again, ours is 30% brighter than standard indoor TVs. Outdoor applications cause much more glare and reflections than indoors. Our screen will greatly reduce that amount. Full weatherproof remote included with many discrete commands. Again, most TVs today that come with a remote, if you happen to get out of the swimming pool and pick up that remote, you pretty much probably just ruined that remote because water went into the button locations. Our remote comes as a fully waterproof remote, and again, you could learn these commands into anybody else's control systems as well. And don't forget about the TV brackets. Regular TV brackets will turn to rust very shortly after install. Please make sure to finish the install with a SunBrite bracket. Even though you will install this TV in a covered patio location, don't think that the homeowner won't be washing things down with a hose. Also, the amount of moisture and humidity will quickly destroy an outdoor TV, an indoor TV mounted outdoor. Of course, discrete input commands and power on and off save a great deal of out-of-sequence calls from the end user. So a regular consumer brand TV that only has a toggle power command, you've probably already received those commands where my TV is not on when it's supposed to be on and my TV is off when it's supposed to be on. So again, with discrete commands, you will get out of that situation altogether. One of the best-selling tools available is right on the SnapAV website. Again, there are a host of images and a video that you can download and share with your customers or use in your own presentations in your showroom. And again, this is on the product tab of each of the SunBrite TVs under the support tab. You can go and download these. In fact, I have a few examples of what is in this on these downloads of these zip files. So here are some images that you could use to show your customers some SunBrite installs and locations. Also some examples of maybe how bright the TV actually is. Here's another example of a great install for you to use. So feel free to download these images and put them into your presentations and show the customer some examples of outdoor installs of TVs. Here's a good shot for you to show to your customer to be able to explain the differences in reflections with outdoor environments. With indoor TVs, the reflective nature of the screen is compounded by the sunlight. This technology is what allows our Pro models to be installed in direct sunlight. So this is actually an image of the Pro model that has special anti-reflective technology for the screen so that it can be seen in direct sunlight. Just make sure that your customer understands that outdoor applications are much, much different in hostile environments when it comes to the sun and the reflective nature of sun and the reflectivity of the screen. In my own personal experience, when I took down that consumer TV from my patio and really looked at it, the screen was very, very high gloss. And that's so that the TV doesn't have to be as bright in an indoor application. But that high gloss screen in an outdoor application caused an enormous amount of reflective issues in that outdoor application. So you'll notice from the Veranda line on up that the screen is of a low gloss technology so that we can cut down a great deal on this reflective nature. We also on the website have a large assortment of logos and many different file formats for you to use in communications to the end user. Another selling tip for you to use. CE Pro just released its first ever outdoor technology study and found that SunBrite TVs were the #1 brand used by installing dealers in 2016. With the Veranda line, we hope to keep that honor for 2017 and beyond. Now some more next steps for you guys. Now that we have the TV sold, let's start talking a little bit about the audio upgrade. As you already know, SnapAV has a large variety of episode speakers for the outdoor environment to choose from. We are just now announcing 2 new models of the SunBrite series episode soundbars. Totally outdoor rated with no rust aluminum cabinets and grills. Same powder coated finish as the TV for the professional outdoor look to match the TV. Direct connect to the Pro and Signature series, but the Veranda will require an outboard amp. These models are now available on the SnapAV website. The next step for you, the dealer, is to find out more information and your pricing so you can start winning back the outdoor TV business. Let's take the fight outdoors and see who wins the battle. Please check out the full line of SunBrite TV models by logging into the SnapAV web portal. As a thank you for attending today's webinar, we will give you a 10% discount on any number of SunBrite TVs on one PO up to $500 total discount. This discount will apply to any models, not just the Veranda. Please use the promo by 5/31/17. Guys, thanks again for attending. I know the webinar was a little short today, but we think we've got lots of key selling points for you and selling tips for you to go along with. And now we'll kind of open the floor up for some Q&A questions, John.
Thank you, Ricky. That was great. We wanted to be cognizant of you guys' time, so we wanted to give you as much information as possible, but keep the webinar short and sweet so that you can get back to the real job at hand, which is always making money for your company. I do have a few minutes to answer some questions, and we've had a few come in, and we've been sort of saving them for you guys, not ignoring you, I promise. But as a reminder, as we're doing this, you can still submit questions as we're going along. One of the things that come back, Ricky, was that a question here, will the B540 Extender 330 RS IP, which is one of our 4K extenders, receiver fit in the back of the Veranda box? And I know you showed a picture, but I just want you to just make sure that you let them know that it can.
Yeah, I think that was the actual image of the 4K unit that you saw in the slide.
Thanks, buddy. The next question is, do all series, including the Signature Series and the Pro Series, come with a QAM tuner?
Yes, all models come with the QAM tuner so that you can cut the cable if you like. Just hook up an off-air high-def antenna, and now you have full off-air high-def channels available, and that's all models, not just the Veranda.
Great, thank you, brother. The next question that we see up here is, what is the power spec for the USB port?
The power spec on the USB is 5 volts, so it should be compatible with anything that's on the market today.
Another good question that comes up a lot, integrators always want more, of course, is does it have IP control?
No, it does not, because we do not have an Ethernet setup for the unit. There is an RJ45, like I said, on the back of the Veranda, but it is not, again, I say it's not for network connection. That's for service and diagnostics only.
Great, man. Thank you. Let's see. What have we got here? Am I able to use the pictures from SnapAV in my print and internet advertising?
Most definitely. Snap wants to help you with your marketing, and that's why we provide these logos and images for you to be able to use. So please, including the video, if you go to any of the SunBrite product pages and click on the support tab, I had a screen capture of actually that page, and there's a video there you can download. Share it, as well as logos, as well as some pictures of install. So please feel free to utilize as much of Snap's marketing that you need to.
Thank you, Ricky. Let's see here. Will a Roku stick fit in the media bay?
Yes, it will. Again, guys, you have to be a little bit aware of how that technology works, because most of those are Wi-Fi devices. And when you put it in the media bay, because the media bay door is metal, you may have a little bit of issues with Wi-Fi connectivity. My suggestion and the team's suggestion is to have a USB extension cable connected to the USB port. Hang that cable out of the media bay and then attach your Roku stick. And that way you can get full Wi-Fi capability into that device.
Great. Second half of that question, I think he was asking, how does the speaker, the new speaker, that the soundbar that we released, attached to the TVs?
We've come up with a very ingenious little mounting bracket that's flush on the back of the TV. Actually, you could almost mount that bracket almost without taking down the TV. So it's a flat plate that mounts to the back of the TV at the lower screw points, and then attaches to the back of the soundbar. So it makes for a very professional looking install. So there is an optional bracket on that speaker.
Thanks, Ricky. There seems to be a common thread here. So the question was, you focused on the visual benefits of this outdoor TV, and what about the sound? Are the built-in speakers good quality and easily heard, or are you going to have to hook up a separate soundbar or connect to a separate amp and associated standalone speakers? So I'm just going to kind of comment on this, if you don't mind, is that honestly, with down-firing speakers versus rear-firing speakers, these speakers sound pretty good by themselves. So you don't have to have a soundbar. It depends on the environment and, you know, ambient noise around pools and things like that. We're just suggesting that as an upgrade for better sound quality, add that soundbar to the system if you want to jack it up, make it a better sound. Another question that we have, will direct water hose spray be tolerated?
Most definitely. Obviously, we use the same waterproofing technology through all our models, and you guys have been to many trade shows in the past and seen SunBrite's really cool display where they have the water trickling down the front of the TV. So yeah, if you're washing down the back patio wall and the TV happens to be mounted to it, wash away. Obviously, you'll wipe it down so that you don't have any little water spots on the screen, but yeah, please feel free to hose down your TV if you need to.
Excellent. Thanks, Ricky. Let's see here. All three series are weatherproof, correct? So what is the difference between the three series if they're all weatherproof?
Well, there's quite a bit of difference between the three. I think what you need to do is figure out where you're installing the TV first. In that little chart we showed you, whether it's full sun, partial sun, or partial shade, and then full shade. The reason for the three different models is the grade of the display and also the temperature controlled environment on the Pro models, and also the connectivity and feature sets. As I made mention again in the presentation, if you need to have RS-232 and it's a have-to-have, then you're going to have to move up to the signature line. Again, you look at the install location first, then you look at the features, maybe connectivity that you need to utilize, and then pick which model is going to be best suited for that application. When you get into the Pro line, you're looking at a model that's designed to be run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if need be. That's why it's a Pro model. Will it do better or look better or be brighter? Probably so. Again, especially if you're not installing it in direct sunlight. But again, what dictates which model you should go with, first and foremost, is the location of the install. And then second criteria would be feature sets. So look at the feature sets on the different models, and then you'd be able to determine which model would be the best suited. The Veranda line was specifically designed to meet a certain cost point to let you guys begin not having to go buy a throwaway TV. It also opens up the discussion now so that you can explain to customers what a really professional model TV is all about, and now you also have the ability to do an upgrade path if need be to move into the signature line or maybe even move into the Pro line. So there are quite a bit of differences between the models, but I think what you should do is look at the mounting location first, feature sets that are needed next, and then you could pick which model would be best suited.
Thank you for that explanation, Ricky. I appreciate it very much. Let's see. Snap AV has always been great with price protection, but we're getting shopped on SunBrite TVs just a little bit. Are there plans to improve protection?
Yes, there is. We're constantly working on it, and map pricing is key for us. I don't think you'll see much problem nowadays. If you do, obviously bring it to our attention. But yes, we are constantly working on making sure that map protection is upheld.
Here's another good question. What types of mounts are now available for the TVs? What's my selection?
All right, so we have the full weatherproof versions of the articulating mount, a non-articulating mount, and also a ceiling mount bracket so that if you need to hang it from a ceiling location. So we do now have on the Snap website these mounts, and these are new mounts, so you should be able to pull up the pricing and also see that on the accessories tab of the TVs.
Thanks, Ricky. Here's an interesting one. Most manufacturers are starting to sell more and more monitors or displays. Is SnapAV going to start offering a tunerless outdoor display?
Not at this time. You know, we've designed this TV to be kind of universal in its application. If we begin to start taking pieces and parts out of it, it's going to actually increase the cost of the unit, especially on the Veranda line. So as soon as we start pulling those out, we're adding more SKUs, which does cause a little bit of confusion. And as of today, the removal of that tuner is not going to make a big price difference on the Veranda line. So we're going to probably keep it in for a while, and that way you have another feature set, another option to sell the customer, just in case the cable service provider goes out. That never happens, right? Nobody loses their cable service. Nobody loses their satellite service. Well, you can just plop on an outdoor TV. You can still watch the football game on Sunday.
Great answer, Ricky. Do they include weather covers?
Well, we getting a little beat up on that one because SunBrite traditionally had included covers. Again, we're trying to meet a price point on the Veranda line, so unfortunately we do not include the covers. They are available as an option, but we do not include the covers on the Veranda line.
Okay, this is probably a marketing thing. Is there a comparison chart of the three like you do for the others like cameras and DVRs? Is there like a quick comparison chart that people can provide?
Because the Veranda is such a new model, it actually is being worked on. I was actually in a meeting today where it was discussed, so you can look for it very, very shortly. We don't have a feature by feature comparison chart available today, but keep looking for it on the website. It should be there shortly, and when we do, we'll have it on all the model lineups so that you can actually see that.
Thank you, sir. Another question about temperature. Scottsdale, Arizona covered porch temp will exceed 115 degrees at times. Do you have any operating temperature problems?
So we can go up to 124 degrees, and that's on the signature model. So again, you know, I understand it's pretty hot in Arizona, and I'm assuming that's in a shaded environment. So hopefully they have the good ceiling fans where they can at least move the air around a little bit. But, you know, 124 degrees is pretty doggone hot. Now, I understand it gets hot in Arizona, but if it's getting that hot under the patio, I think you'd be perfectly fine with the Signature Series and maybe some ceiling fans that are at least moving that 124 degree air around a little bit.
Things are slowing down a little bit on the questions, but I think we're trying to address as many as we can. I saw one earlier that I want to address, I think. It talked about having some challenges with HDMI baluns and IR receivers and outdoor installations. And I can kind of see how that might happen sometimes when you're trying to do things. If you've got the IR receiver on the TV, the sun's bright, it's not going to wash out. But with the ability to add an HD-based receiver inside the panel in the back of it and having an internal IR window and or also being able to, well, that kind of covers it. I mean, I think that covers most of the problems. It's mostly reflection and things like that that wash out the IR. So try that. I think internally that'll work, and let us know if it's not. I think that's all of the questions that have been submitted that we've covered. Do you guys think we've covered everything? What's the Visa pattern standard, Ricky?
Yeah, it's the regular standard 200 by 200 for the 43 inch. And it's the same for all three models.
There's one more question that came up that this is going to be the last question because I want to be cognizant of time, but that was like, is there an employee accommodation program? And I would suggest you talk to your sales rep for that. All right. That's all the time we're going to apply to the webinar today. I just want to thank you guys again for attending. Please look for our follow-up email that will include a coupon, again, for 10% off your next SunBrite order, maximum 500 discount. And also, please take a minute to fill out the brief survey at the end when you exit the webinar. We really appreciate that feedback very much. On behalf of SunBrite and the team of SunBrite and SnapAV, thanks again for taking your time out to join us, and have a great day and happy installing.